amusement park Portal and Cedar Point fans. Well, it's that time of year again where the gates are closed and they're not going to reopen again until May of 2026. And I thought it'd be fun to look back on this year and look at the pros and cons of the season and just see how the park's doing in general compared to years past. Now, it's been a roller coaster of a year, pun intended, at Cedar Point. There's been a lot of positive changes at the park this year, and there's unfortunately been a lot of negative changes. So we're going to go over both the pros and cons of this year, and we're going to kind of go rapid fire style because there's just so many to go over. So let's get started. We're going to start out with one of the biggest positive changes at the park this year, and that is Siren's Curse. Wow. This is a sleeper hit. This is an absolutely amazing coaster, a lot of fun, and it's been fairly reliable as well. I mean, it's not the tallest, fastest, or most intense coaster in the world, but it is a lot of fun. And this is a great addition to Cedar Point. We really enjoyed this addition this year, and that's why I'm putting it in the positive category. Alright, now on to a negative. Well, it's no surprise the lines seem to be a bit longer at times of the year, and that's due to staffing. Unfortunately, Cedar Point, and not only Cedar Point, I should say almost everywhere in the world, is having staffing issues. They just can't find enough employees to staff all the food locations, rides, games, stores, etc. And the side effect of that is, well, the lines are longer and the service is a lot slower. Alright, back to the positives. Now, one of my favorite additions this year is the free lockers for Top Thrill 2 and Siren's Curse. Top Thrill 2 has free lockers at its entrance, and Siren's Curse has them in line just before you enter the station. And of course, Steel Vengeance also has free lockers. This is a wonderful addition because if they're going to force you to use a locker, the least they could do is give it to you free, and that's what they're doing. Negative. The drink stands. With the introduction of the upgraded drink plan with the coffee, hot chocolate, and ices, they definitely need more locations, as the current locations' lines are always long. And in addition to that, they really need to work on the bee problem. If you've gone to one of these drink stands, you've probably noticed they have a lot of bees. Right here at Canada's Wonderland, they had these misters put in place to reduce the amount of bugs in the drink areas, and they work great. Cedar Point really needs to implement that. Alright, next up in the positive category, we have the Happy Fryer, located in the back of the park just across from Gemini. What a great, well, I should say upgrade to what they had. In the past, it was just a walk-up counter service that you waited outdoors. Well, now it's more streamlined. It's indoors, so you're not waiting out in the cold or rain. And it just makes much more sense, and it works really well. Good job with this one. Alright, jumping back over into the negative category, we have all the closed Fun Picks locations throughout the summer. Now, we paid for the all-season Fun Picks package, and we were a little disappointed in this year. It seemed like there was a lot of closed photo booths. Now, I know you can go back and get them, but you have to remember all the times. But if you're running around the park riding coasters all day, you're not going to remember all the times that you're on every single coaster. Now, some of these locations offer the kiosks out front where you can simply scan your phone or your barcode for your FunPix account, and you can choose them that way. However, a lot of times you go up to them, they're not working. So there's that, and I couldn't believe it. Especially towards the end of the season, Top Thrill 2's photo booth was closed quite often. I mean, you would figure one of your top attractions in the park, you'd at least have the photo booth open. Now, I do know that Cedar Point doesn't staff these booths themselves. It's a third party. I want to say it's Cayman's, correctly if I'm wrong. But nonetheless, if you're going to sell a product, you need to have it available for the people that did pay. One of the biggest positive things to happen this year at Cedar Point is Top Thrill 2. Now, we all know the debacle that happened with it last season. It was open for roughly a week, and then it was closed down for, well, the entire year. However, whatever sorcery they pulled on this ride, it's working. It's been up and running fairly reliably all season long. Now, it's had its moments of downtime, just like any other coaster. But for a ride of this magnitude and what it's been through, I am, paint me impressed. I mean, great job, Cedar Point, getting this thing back open. And that's why this is one of the biggest positives on our list. All right, heading back over to the negatives, we have indoor seating. Now, with the closure of Melt and Chicky and Pete's, they've essentially cut indoor seating, well, basically in half. I mean, you do have the Grand Pavilion, Hugo's, and Miss Keats, but beyond that, you really don't have anywhere to sit inside neat. We witnessed several times on busy days, people just, sitting on the ground. I mean, there's just a lack of seating for people to eat at in the park, and they definitely need to work on that. Back over to the positives, we have the all-park passport that was introduced this year. Now, this passport will allow your season pass to be used at over 40 different Six Flags parks. That's incredible. And it's only I believe, $125 currently. They have the sale going on. So this is definitely a good thing, and it definitely falls into our positive category. Switching back over to negatives, we got probably one of the biggest negatives this year, and that is the overselling of the Fast Pass system. Now, I understand the Fast Pass, and it's a great way for the park to make money. However, when you're overselling the product as much as they have been this year, you're diluting the product in general. And then they're selling these single skip the line tickets now as well. And by overselling the product, you're not only making the line a lot longer for the people that did purchase the Fast Lane, but you're also greatly impacting the average day visitor's day as well, as the standby line, can just get incredibly long because of the amount of people using the Fast Lane system. And that's some of the biggest negative feedback I get from a lot of people that visit the park is they're like, we can't enjoy the park as much anymore because we spend half the day waiting in line unless we want to open up our wallet and spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars to avoid them. And that's not good. Back over in our positive category, we have just the general appearance of the park, including the landscaping and Halloween's decor. It seems like they upgraded both of these this year. Not only the landscaping during the summer with the beautiful flowers and trees, but Halloween's as well. It seems like there's a lot more decorations out this year than there has been in years past. So definitely a good positive. Now, I know we mentioned that the all-park passport was definitely a positive. However, it also brings some negatives, like the VIP lounge issue. There has been long lines for the VIP lounge and very little seating, if any, on some days, due to the influx of people with the all-park passport using it. So I sure do hope that in the future, near future, with this sale still going on, that they do end up making some more VIP lounges in that. And in addition to that, the parking, the VIP prestige parking, whatever you want to call it, is very limited. Usually if you're not there by 11:30 in the morning, it is completely full on most days. So I hope they do expand the parking as well. It's definitely needed with the sale of this new all-park passport with the upgrade to prestige. I believe the upgrade's only $100. So of course people are going to purchase that, and it's just going to cause longer lines for everybody. So I really do hope they work on this, and that's why this falls into our negative category. Now, we did mention that the park has been short-staffed this year, but one of the positive things of that is the employees that were working were just awesome. They were working twice as hard, and they still managed to get the job done. So I'd like to give a shout out to all the Cedar Point staff this year. You did a wonderful job. Thank you. All right, near the top of our negative list is the amount of closed rides this season. It's been a maintenance nightmare this year for whatever reason for a lot of rides at Cedar Point that are typically up and running on a daily basis. There's been several coasters that have been down for, weeks at a time. Several rides that closed early for the season. And the train, typically they run 2 trains. 95% of the year this year, they only ran 1 single train, even on busy Halloween and Saturdays, which is just crazy. And there's a lot of rides sitting there just, not looking good. They're closed. I mean, Cedar Point, you need to do a better job in this department, but I understand staffing is an issue right now. One of the biggest surprises this year has been the success of the Conjuring Haunted House during Halloween weekends. This attraction was wonderful, and it's had great feedback from guests, and in return it's causing long lines. Now people are paying as much as $45 for a single trip through this, and it is worth it. It's a lot of fun, and it's good to see the park bring in some IPs like this. I know Six Flags has been doing this for several years. Cedar Fair parks have never really done this before, and it's great to see them doing it. And that's why this falls in our list of positives for the park. And speaking of haunted attractions, that's probably one of the biggest negative things this year, is the addition of the upcharge for the haunted houses that, well, were free forever at Cedar Fair parks. Now they are all an upcharge, and in return, as you can see here, lines have been pretty sparse for them. Now there are nights that it is busy, they do have a line, but I mean the park in general on those nights has been slammed. So they did lower the cost of the haunted attraction wristband, which is a good thing. However, this hasn't been a hit with the general public, and that's why this falls into our negative category. And that brings us to our final positive. I like to end on a positive note, and that's the future. What it has in store for the park. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns. I know a lot of people are concerned with the merger and everything. They have a lot of worries about that, but I'm not too worried about it. They'll figure out the financial part of it. And once they do, I think there's a lot of good things coming in the future to the park. Now, I wouldn't expect a new major coaster for another year or two. You can expect to see maybe some smaller rides or some general park improvements that are, well, way overdue. And even possibly some relocated rides from the recently closed Six Flags America Park and the upcoming Six Flags, Great America out in California. I always get those confused. But we could possibly see some equipment from one of those two parks ending up at Cedar Point. And Cedar Point could definitely use a few more flat rides to complement its great coaster collection. So, with that being said, what do you think of our list? Is there anything we're missing from either the positive or negative category? Let us know in the comments down below. I want to know what you think. And as always, I want to thank everybody for tuning in and watching. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button downstairs. It really does help us out, and we really do appreciate you for doing so. So once again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you out on the midways real soon.